Hi there, my name is Toby, and today I want to talk about the power of words, magic words, magical words. And I also want to talk about language and how language has been used to deceive us. But that is a slightly different thing. That's not so much to do with the power of words, it's to do with deception itself, manipulation. But there is a power to words. How does this work? Why does this work? Now, let's think about it. What is a language anyway? A language is simply a method of getting information into the real world. If you think about it, information is not physical. It's non-physical. I could have an entire novel in my head. It's all in there, but it's not physical. It's purely in my mind, in my soul, my spirit. It's in my subjective experience. And it's going to take me some time to write it into words, into a book. And that is the method of getting this information, non-physical, metaphysical information into the real world, into physical reality. And then it will take you some time to read the book. It takes time to go through the information to let it get into you. So the information is non-physical, metaphysical, just in my head. I bring it into reality. I've got to do some work. And then you've got to read it, you've got to do some work, and that's got to go into your head, and then it will transfer back into metaphysics. Once it's in your head, it's there. It's now inside your subjective experience. So information is really metaphysics. We've got to understand that. And mathematics is included in that. Mathematics is also metaphysics. And this is something that has been forgotten about in modern science. They all use mathematics, it's all built on mathematics, they can't deny that, but they will deny the metaphysics. They don't like metaphysics. We've got to ask them, what is mathematics? Where is it? Where is it? It's only in your head, only consciousness can think about it. Again, it will take time to write down mathematics, do the calculations, and it will take time for you to read it, but the actual mathematics itself is metaphysics, it's esoteric. And we have to acknowledge that to build a real science. And this is the science I talk about, the science of ether. But ether is a pure fluid field. And a pure fluid field is moving and interacting. This is vibration. And vibration is sound. Sound is words. A word is simply a sequence of sounds, a sequence of frequencies that I'm making with my mouth. And I'm disturbing the air to create these different sounds, and that disturbance propagates outwards. You hear it, interpret it, and then it goes back into metaphysics as it enters your soul, your mind. Now, let's look at language, because now we know what it is. Well, but before we even look at language, we can have abstract sounds. Abstract sounds, that doesn't mean anything to you. But I'm still translating information. I'm translating random information. It's just random. But it might not be random to me. I might be connecting to some very important information, but I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know how to bring it into physical reality. So I just make some random sounds, but I'm trying to transmit a particular information through. And that, of course, is speaking in tongues. We all know that, speaking in tongues. That's also shamanic. The shaman do that. The shaman make all sorts of sounds, and sometimes it sounds like words, but it's not. It's just abstract sounds. But the intention and the meaning behind them is so powerful. It's so powerful that even when you hear those abstract sounds, you don't understand them. You just think, what is this nonsense? But if you open your soul, open your mind, you can sometimes pick up the meaning behind those sounds. You can sometimes pick it up, but it bypasses your conscious mind. It just goes straight in because you cannot understand it. It doesn't filter through your conscious mind. It just goes straight to your subconscious mind. But now, that being said, of course, the purity of your intention is difficult to know. It's difficult to know. So I could say these things, but I've got a bad intention or a confused intention. Well, that will sort of make sense. I've got confused things in my mind, so I'm saying confused words, gobbledygook. And that's just like white noise. It's noise. But of course, noise is in itself still information. So the universe is like that. The universe is a pure fluid field vibrating, but it's vibrating randomly, different patterns of vibration happening. And this vibration is information, but the information is metaphysics. So metaphysical information, pure consciousness, pure thought, is manifesting itself through this different vibrations, and that is how it is becoming physical. So the universe is really only two things. It is physics and it is metaphysics. Nothing else. That's it. We don't have 11 dimensions. We don't even have 5 dimensions. There is just a thing called dimensionality. We've got this material reality. That's it. And then we have something else that is outside it. It's outside 3 dimensions, outside space. It's not another dimension because we're still trying to visualize another place like this. It's not a place like this. There is no space. There is no time in this place. It is outside space and time. It is metaphysics. So it's very, very simple. 2 things in the universe, physics and metaphysics. And the model of the universe, the model of Aether, has to just explain these 2 things. And we can build up everything from there. So if we understand that nature of the universe is metaphysical information coming into reality through vibration, through random or varying vibration, a change in frequencies, then we understand what language is, what words are. Language is simply high-level manifestation of the metaphysical universe into the physical universe. And the most powerful language, well, what is the most powerful language, or the number one, the first language? The very first language of the universe. Now you can call it the highest language or the lowest language, depending on the way you look at it. But what do you think it is? I'll give you a minute to think about it. What is the most powerful language? Well, I'll give you the answer. It is binary code. Binary code, 1s and 0s, yes and no, up and down. Now, the universe is not digital per se, because quantum mechanics has us the idea that this is a digital universe, little particles, it all broken down into particles and they're all moving around. It's not digital, the universe is analog, pure fluid, infinite variations. The field has infinite variations in frequency. The quantum mechanics universe has finite. It is digital. It's not digital. It's pure fluid. Pure fluid. Now, it's difficult to get your head around that. But saying that, there are 2 movements. You've got up and down. That's how you create a wave, up and down, up and down. It's still fluid, pure fluid, but the binary code is it going up or is it going down? Is it going up? Is it going down? That is the fundamental language of the universe, and you can build up all languages from this. And if you're a super, super clever computer programmer, you probably can understand binary code. But of course I can't. Most of us cannot understand that. And then the language is built up from that. You make a higher language or a lower language, the way you look at it, which is closer to speaking words. So the higher computer languages are more like talking. And now we've got AI. AI is simply a very high level or very low level language. A language that the computer can understand and a language that we can understand. See, we don't know binary code, so we can't talk to the computer. And we don't even know these other languages like C++, JavaScript, all these languages, whatever they've got now, Python. We don't know them, most of us don't know them. So we can't talk to the computer unless we know that language. But now the computers have got so powerful, they've got a very complex language, the English language or any of our languages, so we can just speak to it. We can just talk to the computer and it will talk that back to us. That is AI. It's not a real consciousness, it's just a language, very, very advanced version of binary code that the computer can understand. That's all it is. That's all AI is. So we shouldn't get too excited by it. But we've got to be careful because we've given it power. So it can make decisions based on what we tell it to do or based on what it supposedly understands from the language that it has been given, the words it has been given. And if we give it power to do things without our decision, then we've made it a bit dangerous, and we've got to watch out for that. And I do predict we're going to have some big mistakes done by AI at some point, and then we'll see, all right, yeah, watch out for this thing. Don't give it any power to decide anything. You can only talk to it, and it can talk back information, but don't let it decide anything, whatever you do. So anyway, binary code is the #1 language, and it works its all the way down to the, let's say, the English language. So now we've got words in the English language, and these words are quite complicated, and each word has a complicated or very specific meaning. And we have to learn those meanings, and we have to learn a lot of them, because there's a lot of information we're trying to transmit in language. But at this point, it gets interesting, because now we've got the point of deception. Now, before we go there, let's go back to ancient languages and why they have got power. You see, the ancient languages, let's take them like Sanskrit. You've got ancient Greek, you've got Chinese. A lot of these languages going back way, way ancient languages. They are trying to express fundamental truths, fundamental science of the universe itself. There's a purpose to the language. See, for example, let's take Sanskrit. Everyone knows Om. They chant it. Om. It's a word, but it's a sound, it's a frequency, and it has a meaning. It has a meaning. And the meaning is it reflects something. That sound, that sequence of frequencies reflects something that is going on in the universe. A very fundamental thing that is going on in the universe. And because it reflects that thing, when you say the word, it connects to that thing. You tune in, it resonates with that thing itself. It resonates with that truth itself. So in Sanskrit, ancient languages, you've got this. So this even the way they write it will have some meaning to it. This got some significance, some numerology. Now, we don't understand that, or some people have researched this. I haven't gone into detail of what this is, but I know it will have a particular meaning, all these shapes. And the same with the Chinese language. You've got all different things in Chinese. Again, I don't know enough about it, but people do. These have got symbolism. And symbolism is, again, a more primitive primary language. Symbolism is where you create a shape, a pattern, a structure. But that structure means something. It's again, what do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. The same with a symbol. A symbol is worth 1,000 words. It's more powerful than words because it takes 1,000 words to describe what that one symbol means. But it's very difficult to understand symbols because it's a lot of information coming to you very fast. When you look at that, bam, all the information hits you. And yet your mind has got to filter through it, can't filter through it. But deep down in your subconscious mind, in your soul, when you see this particular shape, it will resonate with a fundamental truth, an undeniable truth. And that will get in there and it will do something. It will trigger that energy in you. So that is why it will have some power. Let's just say, even if I did something like this, I drew some arrows coming in. When you look at that, it's got several meanings. We can sort of understand that because we understand an arrow, but it means going inwards. So when you see that symbol, you immediately feel of something going in, collapsing inwards. If you do, well, let's just say, even do a complex thing. If I do a picture now of a guy here, and here's another guy with a sword, and he's swinging the sword, and then he's cutting this guy's head off. Now, this is a symbol, this is an image, but it's an image of something terrible happening. I haven't explained it, but you sort of know what it means, and that image goes in and you resonate with that, you know what that is, and it creates a feeling in you. It resonates with your soul. So that's why it has a certain amount of power. So let's take this symbol, so-called negative symbol. All right, I'm going to draw it here. You're all going to recognize it. Now, this symbol, of course, is negative, but it's not. This symbol is originally, this comes from Hinduism and Buddhism, and they got dots in it as well. So this symbol was used for something negative, but is actually a true symbol. This is the wheel of time. See, in Hinduism, they put it at the end of their accounting, the end of the year, because this is like a full stop. See, this is a wheel of time. It's like a clock going round and round. But in the middle here, there is no time. This doesn't move. This is the timeless point, and time extends out as it goes round and round the clock. So this symbol connects to something, a universal truth, the way that the universe works. And of course, you divide it into 4 seasons. There's a lot of stuff that this symbol resonates with. So when you take the symbol of power and use it for a different purpose, you are adding power to that purpose. You are misusing the life force. You're misusing the life force. And if you use a symbol that has power in it, then there is some energy there. There is some energy there. Now, again, it comes through resonance. This resonates this resonates with a universal truth. That's what gives it power. But there's another way we can look at this. Again, this goes to symbolism, and in fact it goes to everything. All images, all structures. You see, to do something good, to create a good word, positive energy, we want to connect to the life force, the growth, and the underlying law of that is mathematics, but it's the mathematics of the golden ratio, phi. This particular mathematics governs growth, all growing things. So we will need this in a symbol or a structure so that it resonates with growth, with the life force. And we know that because all things of beauty, if you create a beautiful image, beautiful artwork, they say it's got the golden ratio in it. And the ratio is something like 1 to 1.61 something, something, something. An egg has got the golden ratio. You see, there's a different size at the bottom to the top, and it'll be in this proportion. And there's a lot of geometry that goes together with this. This is very powerful, very difficult mathematics, and it's called incommensurability. And you'll find all sorts of geometries that go together with this incommensurable geometry. So when you create structures or images or symbols with that geometry, with the mathematics of the golden ratio, you know, create a symbol, something like, well, I had to show you my symbol. I made my own symbol where it's like this. This was my symbol. But that will have the golden ratio in it. Again, it's like an egg. But it's hand drawn. So again, it comes with life force. I put the energy into it. So that there's more than just a symbol. I've got to put my actual energy into the symbol. Plus, I'm drawing a symbol that resonates with a very powerful fundamental truth. So there's 3 points here. There's a clockwise movement, an anti-clockwise movement, going back to a clockwise movement. You've got heaven and earth, and this proportionality of 1 to 5. So this is a powerful symbol. It's got energy in it. But this is my one. That's my one. So the golden ratio, phi, the Greek letter phi, this is very, very important. I call this the grand unified field theory. That's it, phi. That's all there is. Because everything can boils back to this ratio. This is the secret. This is the proportion between the physical and the metaphysical. It's in relation to phi. It's very, very interesting. So if you create a word or a language which has this in it, for example, the Om is going to have the golden ratio in it somewhere. The proportionality maybe between this and this. This looks like it as well. Between here and here is going to be phi. This side and this side is going to be phi. There's going to be proportionality in here. And this proportionality makes it beautiful. So this is the next thing. Because this is energy, life force, we feel it. It's about our feelings, our emotions, our subjective experience. So if we create a beautiful image, here says a beautiful sculpture, right, well, you know, it's not very beautiful, but pretend this was a beautiful sculpture. When you look at that, and it's a human body, but all the proportions are correct with phi. The human body is made up with this mathematics. It's artistic, but it's scientific. It's got real wisdom in there. This will give us a good feeling. We will resonate with a perfect form, the idea, the blueprint of a human being. So this will heal us. Looking at these sculptures will heal us. That's what this old technology is. All these old world, they make beautiful sculptures and beautiful buildings, all with this sort of mathematics. You had pillars, you had arches. This is all geometry connected to the golden ratio. So this in itself is resonating with the life force, the mathematics of the universe. Remember, order is the first law of heaven. That's the saying. So you create this order, this geometry, and it draws heaven here. So that's what they're doing. Now, the opposite, when this becomes bad, evil, is when you create something ugly. Well, now this guy's ugly. So this is an ugly sculpture of a person. You know, mediocre, you know, banal, or doing something horrible, some disgusting thing. Now you're resonating not with fire. This is gone. There's no mathematics here that connect to this. Of course, there's still mathematics, but this is all over the place. Randomness. This is like noise. So this is destructive interference. This is constructive interference. So when we do this, this is creating damage. If we create a sound that is ugly, horrible, then we're creating damage, destructive interference. And it's the same with now modern art. All modern art is pretty ugly stuff. You know, you just get all sorts of random stuff, and this is called art. But it is all brutalism. It is all ugliness on purpose, because it is creating disharmonious frequencies. It is destructive interference for the life force. We don't like it. We feel off. It is fragmenting our soul. It's not good for us. When we create something with the golden ratio, it is good for us. That is a magic word, good. This is the light magic. This is the dark magic. That's what it is. That's how it works. And it works with language, with words, with vocalizations, the same thing. We want to create a constructive interference, a place where the life force emanates. And it must then have this mathematics, this beauty, this order, this structure, this numerology. This is esoteric metaphysics. That's what gives it the power. So when you create symbols, when you create words, you're connecting to pure information which connect to your soul, and that resonates with something. And if it resonates with the truth, with the life force, with something that is creating energy, well, that will do you good. If it creates a symbol or a word or a meaning that connects to something that is destroying energy, that is cutting you down, is fragmenting your soul, well, that is going to not do you so much good. But what if I want to take something from you? I want to get something out of you. And I want to trick you. I've got to trick you to doing that. Well, language is a very, very powerful way of doing that. I can use language like a con man. You know, I can use language that you understand. I'm not changing the meaning of the words. I'm using the words, but I'm talking to your emotions. I'm telling you stories. So I'm bypassing your conscious mind and going straight to your soul, straight to your emotions. So I'm transmitting emotional information to you, not intellectual information. That's how con men work. They tell you stuff, but they've got to be a feeling. Look, I really need the money because I've got to have an operation, you know, and I can't get the money. You've got to help me. So they're giving you an emotional reason, an emotional feeling, and that will bypass your conscious mind. And then they've got the meaning across to you, and then you do what they want. They've used language to manipulate you. But then you've got a far deeper one. This is the most dangerous one, is where you change the meaning of the words. So when I say some words to you, you think they mean something, so I do it, but in fact they mean the opposite. And I don't realize what's happening here. I've actually been tricked into doing something that I don't understand. Now that is what's going on in the world now. The most dramatic example of this is the legal system. The legal system has their own language. It's called legalese. And they've taken the words that we all use, the English language, but they've changed the meaning of the word. To them, it means something totally different. So when we see that word, we think, oh, it means something to us. But to them, it means something else. So when we sign the document, we do not understand what it is we have signed. But to them, oh, you've signed something. Right, I love that. And this is where language itself has been used to deceive. Now, this isn't really fair. This doesn't really count. But nevertheless, they're using it. They're using it because, again, it's still primitive. It's still evil because just because you understand the meaning of a word one way and I understand the meaning of a word the other way, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. So it's still a very cheap excuse that they do this. But let me give you a couple of examples. We use the word child for our children. But children really means chattel. It means cattle. They're seeing it like husbandry. We are cattle, animals to them. And when we use the word parent, we think we're parents of a child. But parent means the pair who pay rent. You see, the state actually has a birth certificate. They own the child, the cattle, and we, the parents, are the pair who pay rent for the privilege of looking after that child. But actually, to their mind, the birth certificate means they own the child, they own the certificate, and they are renting it to us. So that's legalese. In legalese language, parent means the pair who pay rent. And there's loads of these, so many of these. You see, Mr., where they give you a title, Mr., my name is Mr. Toby. And I think that just means I'm a man. It doesn't mean that. Mr. comes from a very old word, I think it's called mysterium or something, mystery, I can't remember exactly. But it actually goes back to business. It means you're a tradesman, you're working in trade, you've got a craft. But we don't know that. But then to the legal system, it means, you're doing business. If you accept you're a mister, you're doing business, you're doing trade, therefore we can tax you. Because now if you're doing trade, you're a corporation, you're in business, now all our rules and regulations apply to you. So you've been tricked because you do not know the meaning of the word, or they've deceived you as to what the meaning of the word is. So that is another way that words can have power over you. But that's not really the power of the word, because the word is arbitrary. That's an arbitrary meaning. That's why it's a low-level language. For example, the English language is low-level because the words I'm using are a sequence of frequencies, but those sequence of frequencies are arbitrary. They don't connect to any particular resonance in the universe. So the language itself has not got much power. But then we've connected this arbitrary language to meaning, and those are the words, the English language. But the actual words have not got much power. But then they have power when they deceive you. In other words, I've created another meaning that you don't understand. So now I've sort of got two languages. I'm speaking one, you're speaking one, and we're not really communicating, but we think we are. Now, the ancient languages, I'm saying Sanskrit, Chinese, but they're much, much older languages, far more powerful. They are connecting to resonance, real meaning to the frequencies. See the word Om. Om, it's a word. Om. It's got a writing. There it is. But the actual pronunciation of it, Om, it's creating a resonance, an expansion and a contraction. It's mirroring the very creation of the universe, or the process of creation of the universe. And I developed my own one, my own meaning word that I would chant. And I used to teach this a lot when I was teaching this before, years ago. And mine went like this. So it's a word, it's a chant, it's a sound, it's got a meaning. And I'll tell you what the meaning is, but it goes like this. So it's quite a complex thing. It starts off G. So I'm made it's like a spark of energy. G. It's sudden. I've made a creation, a moment. G. I've created an energy. Then it starts to expand. G. It's vibrating. Then it opens up through the vowels. Yeah. Here's the expansion, the creation of the universe. So I'm creating a bubble of energy. Yeah. Then it encloses in. It closes back. It reaches infinity and comes in again. Ow. My mouth starts to close down. The sound closes down. The energy comes in. Ooh. Then the mouth closes. Now it changes. It's sealed. And then what I'm doing is running my tongue slowly to the roof of my mouth. Om. It's like I'm saying ing, ing. So the sound is now again internal. It's resonating inside my body. I can feel it vibrating. And then finally it goes to silence, and then I swallow. So I'm rolling the sound like a ball right down to the back of my tongue, to the back of my throat, and then I swallow it down. And there are languages, you know, in Africa now, you've still got those languages where they've got different sounds, clicking. They speak with a click. Very complex, elaborate language. And we think those African tribes are primitive. You try talking that language. Very, very advanced language. You do not underestimate those primitive languages. They're closer to the cosmos. Those sounds, those frequencies they're using are closer to fundamental truths, fundamental resonances. So this little chant is a word, jiaum. Jiaum. It's a word. I could write it somewhere if I wanted to. But again, I've got to tell you what that word means. It means the creation, expansion, contraction, and swallowing down and ingestion of the universe. Jiaum. So I could build a whole language, say, from that, let's just say. But I'm trying to explain to you what it means. That word has power because the pronunciation of it creates a resonance in the material world, and that resonance mirrors what the universe itself is doing. So I connect to the universe, I'm getting all the energy in one go, and then the process of saying the word creates that energy, connects the energy, brings it back, and then I ingest it into myself. So we're going to just try it with me now. Look, let's sit here, we say it once. Sit nice and tall, you build it to the chest, you'll feel the cavity. When you swallow it, you want to bring it to the chest here. Just sit relaxed, we say it. Feel the energy, connect it, swallow it down inside your body. And take up a deep breath. You'll feel it. You should feel, yeah, all right, I've got a bit of energy there. So magical words are working on this principle. Magical words are ancient languages because the sound frequencies they're using resonate. They resonate with mathematics, and they resonate with a particular mathematics also, the golden ratio. And they'll resonate with symbols. Symbols, again, that resonate with fundamental truths. That's why things like the pyramids have got power. Why have the pyramids got power? Because this geometry and the proportionality of that pyramid, it will be a very specific proportionality, resonates with the fundamental underlying mathematics of the universe, the golden ratio. It's the very creation. So that shape connects, it resonates with the metaphysical mathematics, and there will be a sound that resonates with that shape, which resonates with the metaphysical reality. And if you say that sound, it will resonate with that shape, and it will resonate with the metaphysical reality. So if I want to do magic, I need to say a sound, a word that will do that. And then I've got to say it with intention, because that word is now powerful energy, and then direct it somewhere. So you can do this for good, and you can do this for evil. But the good news is there is no evil, so if someone wants to do this to you with evil, all you have to do is project out some good and it counteracts it. So they can't get you if you don't let them. So nobody can cast magic spells on you if you do not let them. You know, and you see this, there's such a thing called spiritual kung fu. In the Taoist philosophy, Qigong, they have it. They connect to spirits. They're actually doing spiritual kung fu. They're possessed by a spirit and then they're fighting. You can see movies like this. And you'll have two Taoist magicians. And they'll have an altar. One is doing magic spells. And the other one on the other altar is doing magic spells. And they've got all things, water, fire. They're doing the magic and they're fighting. They're fighting. And they sometimes feel the energy and fall bang. Oh. But of course, that doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you, because even if there was a great Taoist master over there doing magic spells on me, it wouldn't work, because I build a shield of my aura. If I do not let anything come in, it cannot come in, because it's metaphysics. It's only metaphysics. And I can control metaphysics from my soul, my own decision. So no language can have power over you if you do not let it. Now deception, like I said, is different because you're unaware of it. That's why it's dangerous. That means we do have to be conscious when we talk. I'm doing my best to be like that, to do that. But it means when we read things, we've got to be aware of the language we're reading, because it could be deceiving us, and most likely it is. It is deceiving us. And of course, that's what a lie is. A lie is flat out deceit. It means you're saying one thing and meaning the opposite. And it's hard to detect a good liar. You've got lie detector tests, but a true narcissist will beat a lie detector. Someone, because they don't believe they're lying. their purpose to lie, to them, they believe it. So they're saying these lies with integrity. Now, it's difficult to detect one of those guys. The only way you can detect a true master liar, I don't know, but if you say the lie with full intention and full belief, that has power as if it's true. You've got to watch out for that. It means no matter what anyone ever tells you, even if you trust them, even if they're a so-called advanced person, a high priest of this, that, or the other, you still must look at the words, analyze them with your critical mind, analyze them with your own conscience, and only then do you consider believing them. Never take it at first value. This is common sense. We've got to be streetwise in this world. I know I talk about metaphysics. That seems, it's not. Metaphysics is clarity, and you need that in this real world. Now, if you want to learn more about the power of languages and how the legal language has deceived us quite a lot, I really strongly suggest you check out the Sovereign Project. And I'll leave the links below to their channel and their website. And they got a lot of experts there who understand the legal language and all these meanings that have been created. So it's well worth checking them out. So I hope this little talk made sense. Please do leave any questions or comments below. And I really do appreciate you listening. Thank you. To this expression of language, I've been trying to transmit wisdom through words to the best of my ability, and I hope you've managed to receive those words and translate it back into wisdom that makes sense to your logical mind and makes sense to your heart, your conscience. But that is up to you. It must be up to you, which is what I'm saying here. That is what it means to be sovereign. I am trying to be sovereign, and I'm trying to inspire everyone else to be sovereign. It's not a following because you have to be this yourself. I am simply passionately trying to convince everyone that they should be sovereign, be responsible for themselves, and be masters of themselves. It's the answer. It's the answer for all of us. So thank you very much again, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.